Hey guys, in this video I'll be comparing 1995 Kevin Levrone and 1999 Flex Wheeler. This was a fan-requested comparison and also won the most votes on the poll, so if you guys want to see your ideas turn into a video, please let me know in the comments. The first pose, the front double, showcases two competitors in two completely different stages of their careers. Kevin is relatively new and young, with this being his fourth Mr. Olympia contest, while Flex is more experienced, having competed in 7 at this point. This level of competence is seen within their posing, since Flex executes a much more artistic, aesthetic shot, while Kevin positions his legs too close and isn't putting too much thought or effort into the presentation. That being said, both are extremely competitive in the arms, lats, and quads, having great V-tapers and very solid conditioning. While Kevin is comparable in the outer quad sweep and arm size, Flex poses his legs more effectively, creating the illusion of more mass, and he also has rounder, bubblier arms. Neither are the most separated in the arms, with Flex often being accused of using sight enhancements. However, I do prefer Flex's rounder, bubblier look. I also like how his midsection flows into those wide lats, and how his quads bow out to create a far better X-frame. While both have similar muscular development and condition, Flex's posing mastery easily gets him a win. The front lat spread is a very close shot since both competitors feature superb arms, chest conditioning, delts, and quads. Looking at their lower bodies first, it is clear now that Flex has an advantage when it comes to the outer quad sweep. However, Kevin isn't far off and has just as good condition. Torsos are close as well, however, Flex has Kevin beat by a bit, having an ever so slightly smaller waistline and better aesthetics. Kevin is able to catch up in the lats, arms, and delts, having drier, more detailed separation and equal size. I'm not the biggest fan of Flex's pointy delts and elbows, murky arm separation, and relatively tiny forearms. However, his overall physique flows nicely. Their lats are roughly even, however, Kevin has more definition in the insertions, better detail in the intercostals, and a drier type of conditioning overall. I'd go with Kevin in this pose since I do prefer his combination of shape and mass, along with that amazing conditioning as well, while Flex does have some flaws that you really just can't unsee. Here's the side chest, a pose which is relatively solid for both, however nowhere near their best rendition. Kevin almost appears flat when looking at his chest and side leg, considering that he's looked twice as full and pumped in the past. It's kind of the same story for Flex when looking at the chest, with neither having the most density or thickness in this area. Since the angles are different, Flex's rear delt appears twice as round, while Kevin's midsection is half the width of Flex's. You can also tell that Kevin's picture isn't the best quality, since he looks undetailed and smooth, which contrasts with the stellar conditioning seen in the prior photos. I don't really know who to go with here, since neither present the most amazing separation of the arms, chest, or delts, nor do they have the best side legs. Flex may have more size, especially in that outer quad, whereas Kevin has more detail in the glutes and similar hamstring size. I don't really know, guys. Neither stands out to me here, so take your pick. Personally, Kevin's presentation and camera angle are more favorable, however, Flex isn't that far off either. The rear double is a competitive pose when looking at their backs and arms, but a blowout shot for Kevin in the legs. This is because Kevin makes Flex look 1 year out in the glutes and in the hamstrings, quite possibly having the entire Pacific Ocean's water in his lower body. There's not a single faint sign of separation in Flex's glutes, and his hamstrings, while showing some signs of life, are basically drowning in water. Flex does have the more impressive back though, showcasing amazing separation and muscle maturity, supreme aesthetics in the symmetry department, and incredible shapely arms. Kevin isn't far behind though, having more separation in the traps, razor-sharp delts, and similarly gigantic arms, with cleaner separation in the brachialis and better forearms. While the upper bodies are certainly a close call, Kevin wins this pose convincingly because of the lower body dominance. Unfortunately, I don't have the clearest picture for the rear lat spread of Flex, however, this shouldn't really matter since Kevin would win this pose. Not only does Flex lack the lower body separation, especially in the glutes, but he also looks so narrow in the lats and can barely open up. Although he's at an angle, you can still notice the asymmetry in his lats, something that completely goes against the Sultan of Symmetry nickname. He does have a more separated mid-back and solid separation in the upper body. However, he looks narrow relative to Kevin, who is extremely thick in the traps and lower back and presents top-tier width of the lats as well. Once again, this is a decisive win for Kevin, with this probably being Flex's worst pose. Back to the side, we have the side tricep, and this might just be the most competitive shot yet. Despite posing in two different ways, both manage to look equally as aesthetic and have some unique standout attributes. For Kevin, he has the best tricep and crazy delt separation, a detailed side leg, and a shredded, controlled, and trim waistline. Flex presents a world-class quad which is ripped and shredded to the bone, just as good of, if not better of a midsection, and a very impressive arm of his own. Neither have the best fullness in the chest. However, there's really no denying that their total packages are phenomenal. Personally, Flex's aesthetics and clean lines are off the charts in this pose, despite having imperfect separation in the delt and possibly synthol in those arms. Kevin is great though, posing in a more conventional manner and managing to look just as good. While Kevin should probably win for having no signs of sight enhancements and for possessing a far better tricep, Flex's aesthetics are just too impressive. Let me know down below though, who would you choose? As for me, I would go with Flex. Here's the ab and thigh, the last competitive pose for these two, considering that the most muscular was not a judged pose at the time. This is definitely an apples versus oranges scenario, since Flex has that tiny waist and genetically superior ab insertions, but lacks a solid V-taper and looks incredibly narrow. Kevin is the complete opposite, having tremendous lat flare and a very commendable V-taper. However, his abs aren't as deeply separated or developed, and his obliques spill over his trunks, causing his waist to effectively bulge out at the seams. This spillage isn't necessarily compensated with tree trunk quads either, as his legs, while solid, aren't feathered or excessively swept like Flex's. So it really just comes down to a superior V-taper and X-frame versus a much better midsection and better quads. I'd go with Flex here since he convincingly wins in the quads and the midsection, the two most important aspects of this pose, and he wins them in a very dominant manner, more dominant than Kevin wins the silhouette. However, I can see an argument for Kevin winning the pose as well. Just because these two are iconic and the most muscular, let's take a quick look. Here you can see that both have cannonball delts, balloon-esque arms, and swept quads. They also have good separation in the chests and tight detailed and chiseled midsections. Flex does have larger arms and delts, however he sacrifices the deep cuts and intricate detail that Kevin has, only for a slight advantage in size. I do like the quad feathering and the chest fullness. However, there's no denying that his arms and delts look extremely smooth and suspicious compared to Kevin's dry, super full, and detailed arms and shoulders. While Flex is freaky and bubbly round, Kevin has a 3D look to his triceps and delts that is really timeless, being competitive in almost any era. He'd win this pose in my opinion, since his detail is far better, he has virtually zero flaws, and he is similarly sized to Flex. Alright guys, that's it for this video. In summary, I had this one ending in a 4-3 win for Kevin, as he won both back poses convincingly and took home the win in the side chest and front lat spread. The front double and side tricep were close, slightly leaning in favor of Flex. However, they could have gone to Kevin depending on what you prefer. Now, in my opinion, Flex did win the ab and thigh and side tricep rather decisively. However, I think that his potential synthol usage and angular muscularity in certain poses made his physique lack that quality. He was definitely saved by his masterful posing in the front double and side tricep, and his aesthetics as a whole are what differentiated himself in such deep 1990s lineups. Anyways, let me know what you thought of this comparison and if you agree with the outcome, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.